headlines of this hour on VTV News. Prime Minister visits workers on duty during national holiday. And bare feet iron will, the reason leading to Vietnam's glorious victory 49 years ago. In our world news, WEF special meeting focuses on international cooperation for resilient global economy.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Good morning. It is 8 a.m. local time in Hanoi, and you're watching VTV News. I'm Huyen Tan with the top stories. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính conducted an inspection of several expressway projects across Khánh Hòa, Phú Yên, and Bình Định provinces on Monday. During his visit, he took the time to meet and encourage officials and workers who were diligently working even during the holidays. He also required managers to promptly address any obstacles hindering the progress of these projects.
Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính inspected the Vân Phong Nha Trang project, which is part of the Eastern North-South Expressway development plan for the period 2021 to 2025. During his visit, he commended the project management board, contractors, the officers, and employees for their diligent efforts in expediting the construction process. The Prime Minister urged units to capitalize on the dry season to accelerate the leveling process, aiming to boost progress and complete the project by April 30th next year. He also called upon localities and Vietnam Electricity to promptly address the site clearance issues. On the same day, the Prime Minister inspected the construction site of the Khánh Hòa-Buôn Ma Thuột Expressway project, Phase 1. This segment spans 117 kilometers and requires an investment of over $868 million, stressing the project's strategic significance in linking the Central Highlands and South Central regions. He urged Khánh Hòa and Đắk Lắk provinces to enhance site clearance and facilitate on-site resettlement.
It's inspiring to witness the dedication of contractors and workers who continue to work diligently even during holidays. My hope is for all personnel and equipment involved in road construction to adhere to our schedule while upholding standards of progress, quality, aesthetics, labor safety, and environmental protection. And corruption and any negative phenomena should be avoided. I'd like to express my appreciation to the workers who sacrificed their holidays to ensure project continuity despite the scorching heat.
At the construction site, the Prime Minister directed the resolution of Khánh Hòa province's proposal to open intersection between the expressway and National Highway 26, emphasizing its crucial role in promoting socio-economic development. He required the Ministry of Transport to promptly address this matter in collaboration with the province. He urged relevant units to ensure the harmonization of interests among build, operate, transfer investors of National Highways 26.
During the ongoing Reunification Day and Labor Day holiday, many engineers and workers at the construction site of the Cần Thơ-Cà Mau Expressway project are still rushing to speed up construction progress. Despite the scorching heat, all personnel and units involved are determined to complete this key transportation project on schedule.
Despite the intense heat reaching nearly 40 degrees Celsius, 1,000 workers and engineers remain diligently engaged at the construction site of the Cần Thơ-Cà Mau Expressway project. During the holiday, the workload are even heavier than normal.
We are committed to dedicating our efforts to completing the project, despite the hot weather conditions. We prioritize time for rest to ensure good health, thereby enabling us to fulfill our tasks.
We maintain a continuous schedule for construction workers, ensuring operations 24/7. Both workers and engineers demonstrate determination on the construction site, regardless of weather conditions.
The Cần Thơ-Cà Mau Expressway project includes two main components, the Cần Thơ-Hậu Giang and Hậu Giang-Cà Mau segments. To date, the total value of construction output has reached roughly 30%.
To speed up the construction progress, the contractor plans to boost the importation of sand and increase ground treatment in the coming time. Construction will be executed in a phased manner to ensure adherence to the set schedule.
The Cần Thơ-Cà Mau Expressway is expected to close the vertical axis by connecting interregionally and interregionally, thereby linking the North-South Expressway.
Despite spending holidays away from their families, hundreds of officials, engineers, and workers are diligently expediting the progress of the 500 kilovolt Circuit 3 transmission line project. They are implementing various measures to cope with the intense heat while ensuring the completion of construction sites. Many investors in construction units are determined to finish the projects according to plan.
Under the scorching sun, workers and engineers are still on site for the construction of the 500 kilovolt Circuit 3 transmission line project. Construction is currently underway at the foundation of column number 36, package 21 of the Quảng Trạch Quỳnh Liêu section. Everyone is putting in efforts to complete this column.
We are working overtime and doing our best to expedite progress. Despite the hot weather, we are determined to hand over the power grid to the government.
Despite the hot weather, challenging terrain, and construction difficulties, we are still closely monitoring the site to ensure the project's progress and quality, as requested by investors and relevant units.
To date, the transmission line project has handed over 100% of the site. Currently, 120 out of 1,177 steel columns are completed. Investors are also focusing on urging contractors to provide materials and equipment and proceed with the installation of the poles according to the committed schedule.
To speed up the construction progress, contractors need to assess the location upon receiving the site handover. If the location is convenient, contractors should bring machinery and resources to conduct operations at once.
The 500 kilovolt Circuit 3 transmission line project in Quảng Trạch to Phố Nối spans approximately over 500 kilometers, with a total investment of around $868 million. The project is slated for completion and operation by June 30th this year.
On the morning of April 29th, the General Statistics Office announced that the increase in gasoline prices tied to global fuel prices was the main contributor to the 0.07% rise in the Consumer Price Index, or CPI, in April 2024, compared to the previous month. Compared to the end of last year, the April CPI increased by 1.19%, and compared to the same period last year, the CPI increased by 4.4%. Among the 11 main groups of consumer goods and services, 8 groups saw a price increase compared to the previous month. Include beverages, garments, shoes, housing, and construction materials. Meanwhile, 3 groups experienced a price decrease: postal and telecommunications, education, and food services. Buying $1 at a Vietcombank costs 25,458 Vietnam Dong, up over 1,000 Vietnam Dong, or 4.2% since the start of the year. Fluctuating exchange rates impact import-export businesses, prompting them to implement solutions to cope with the exchange rate fluctuations. More to follow.
This business spends $160,000 monthly, importing raw steel for processing and mold production. To sustain profits, businesses intend to raise selling prices, potentially leading to a decrease in orders.
We plan to increase prices by 5 to 10%, making it tougher to compete with other investors in Vietnam or domestic enterprises.
In contrast, businesses exporting to the US and Europe have gained from the appreciation of the USD. This business revenue surged by over 45% in the first quarter. As the USD strengthens, leading to sharp depreciation of currencies like the yen, businesses reliant on Japan's market must seek new avenues.
We must research and focus on consumer preferences and products with strong sales potential. We use the quantity to offset profit losses.
In the first quarter, Vietnam's trade surplus exceeded $8 billion. To stabilize currency supply and demand, the state bank issued nearly 200 trillion VND in bills, selling foreign currencies to credit institutions with negative foreign currency positions, reducing the need for USD gold purchases and cooling the exchange rate by about 30 VND.
Foreign exchange reserves may need to be utilized if necessary. Currently, our reserves are relatively stable, equivalent to about 3.34 months of imports, surpassing the IMF standard of 3 months of imports.
The devaluation of many currencies worldwide is mainly due to the USD strengthening by about 5%. According to experts, exchange rate pressure remained strong in the first half of this year and gradually decreased from the middle of the third quarter when the U.S. Federal Reserve may begin to lower interest rates.
Coming up next on VTV News. Bare feet iron will, the reason leading to Vietnam's glorious victory 49 years ago. And a new vitality found in a Truong Sa Island district. You're watching a VTV News Live. Now, the ongoing heat wave is further gripping Vietnam and is expected to decrease in intensity in the northern and central regions when a weak cold spell hits on May 1st. All 3 regions of Vietnam are withstanding intense heat in early summer during the April 30th and May 1st period. It has been seen for the past 10 years. Localities in the northern region and the central region recorded high temperatures of between 38 to 42 degrees Celsius. However, meteorologists said a weak cold spell is moving towards Vietnam and that could first strike northern localities on May 1st. However, southern localities are unlikely to be affected by the cold air wave, and they will therefore continue to maintain the current weather pattern with little rain and a widespread heat until May 3rd. To share people's hardship on the journey home to enjoy the holidays, traffic police in some localities have organized free water distribution along highways. In Tiền Giang, traffic police deployed forces on national highways to distribute more than 5,000 bottles of free water to people traveling from Ho Chi Minh City to the Mekong Delta provinces. In Đồng Tháp, Sa Đéc City Police coordinated with Sa Đéc Youth Union to organize a charity stop on Highway 80, passing through Sa Đéc City. Here, police officers and youth union members will give away 10,000 water bottles, cold towels, and 500 loaves of bread to people on their way home for the holidays. Hundreds of soldiers work all Sunday night to extinguish the fire that occurred in the forest area of Vĩnh Phú Commune, Giang Thành District, Kiên Giang Province. The fire was discovered on Sunday afternoon. Hundreds of soldiers, vehicles, and firefighting equipment were dispatched to the area. However, due to hot weather and wind, the forest fire spread quickly. In addition, some places in the forest area lack water, so the firefighting work of the functional forces faced many difficulties. The fire was basically controlled by Monday. However, the smoldering hot weather can cause the fire to reignite at any time, so the forces are still actively cleaning ashes. Since Vietnam achieved the national reunification in 1975, the question of why Vietnam won the resistance war against America and secured the country's sovereignty has been studied and documented in numerous works on the Vietnam War. From the perspective of former opponents, there has been a growing acknowledgement for the resilience and determination exhibited by the Vietnamese army and people. Over time, they have realized the significance of bare feet, iron will in guiding Vietnam towards its ultimate goal of national independence.
As I got to know the Vietnamese people better, There was something in their DNA that was very unique. They have been able repeatedly in their history to defeat superior powers. I came to recognize the fact that no matter how long we had committed ourselves to fighting that war, we never could have won it.
The book titled Bare Feet, Iron Will by James Zumwalt, published in 2010, has garnered special attention from American public opinion. Conducting over 200 interviews with Vietnam veterans within a decade, the author sought to uncover the answer to the question of how Vietnam managed to win against a superpower like America. In addition to the unwavering determination of the Vietnamese people during the war, many authors have identified a proactive strategic approach as a key factor contributing to Vietnam's victory. This viewpoint is highlighted in the book titled Secrets of the Vietnam War by Philip Davidson, the former chief of United States military intelligence in Vietnam.
Since the early 1980s, research on the Vietnam War has increasingly shifted towards empirical science. However, over time, scholars have drawn a conclusion: the stronger side is not necessarily the victorious one. Instead, they have identified a more convincing reason of victory: the side characterized by people with bare feet and iron will would win.
In our endeavor to liberate the South, we bore the spirit of a heroic nation and the heroic Vietnamese army. As President Ho Chi Minh said, war may endure for 5 years, 10 years, or even 20 years, but eventually, we will triumph and achieve national independence, liberating our country.
The resilience and unity displayed by the Vietnamese army and people were instrumental in securing the glorious victory in the nation's longest and most challenging conflict against foreign invaders.
After 49 years of complete liberation, construction, and development, with a special attention from the party and state and the people of the whole country, Truong Sa Island District has a new vitality. The lives of the island's people, officers, and soldiers are getting better and better. More in the following.
The infirmary on Sington Island was inaugurated in 2022. Despite being hundreds of nautical miles from the mainland, the clinic has modern medical equipment, ensuring emergency surgeries and initial treatment for severe illnesses.
We are fully equipped with ultrasound systems, X-rays, and biochemical and hematological tests to ensure timely treatment for patients on the island.
The facilities have been improved. Officers, soldiers, and people are excited when their physical and mental health are cared for.
Many island communes with adequate authorities, schools and infirmaries have been built and established. Shiplock areas and fishery service centers have become the fulcrum for fishermen in the middle of the ocean.
Fishermen can feel secure when going fishing around Date Island. There is a logistics area here with enough oil, ice, and food, no different from the mainland.
Not only supporting and protecting fishermen, the military forces in the Truong Sa archipelago also accompany people to ensure safe and sustainable fishing in waters under Vietnamese sovereignty.
Requiring propaganda work for fishermen about illegal seafood exploitation is one of the tasks that the party, state, and government assign to the Navy. Forces performing tasks on the island regularly approach fishing vessels to propagate and campaign about legal fishing, contributing to the early removal of the IUU yellow card.
Although there are still many difficulties, the army and people in the Truong Sa archipelago always steadfastly overcome them, focusing on developing the marine economy and improving the capacity to protect the sovereignty of the sea and islands of the country.
Con Chim Islet is a small island downstream of the Co Chien River. The islet has only 2 distinct seasons, freshwater and saltwater. Years ago, locals relied on fishing and farming, resulting in unstable livelihoods. However, with the new wave of community tourism that swept the area in 2019, the islet has developed a model for sustainable tourism that adapts to climate change, becoming a typical example in the Mekong Delta region.
Van was among the first people in the locality to practice community tourism on the islet. She provides unique tourism services, including running homestays and offering tasty local delicacies.
We lead a nature-based lifestyle, and that is the experience we offer to tourists. Our products and services are available on this island.
In 2019, local authorities aimed to transform Kon Chim Islet into a community tourism destination. They set development goals, which included leveraging the area's natural benefits through a green tourism model. The community has since grown from the original 7 households to 19 households operating community tourism models.
We invited tourism experts to guide locals towards appropriate tourism models. Each person had their own strengths, so they chose their own services to offer. Together, they formed a unique tourism chain in the locality.
The only means of transportation to the islet is by ferry. Despite this challenge, the islet's beauty continues to attract tourists. Locals, whether in agriculture or tourism, have developed a nature-based economic model. No chemicals are used as they aim to protect the natural environment.
Cleanliness has significantly improved in my hometown. Now we have trash bins at every corner of the village.
We aim to protect the environment and keep it clean, green, and beautiful.
That's nice. They have to have some sun, some wind, and the people are really easy.
It's a bit touching because the scenery is so different from what I'm used to in France. I love it here. I will definitely come back.
After more than 4 years, Kon Chim community tourism has maximized its potential and natural advantages. Locals have promoted traditional cultural values, creating a sustainable source of income.
Coming up next in our world news. WEF special meeting focuses on international cooperation for resilient global economy. And countries around the world strengthen actions to reduce plastic waste. Now moving on to our world news. A special meeting of the World Economic Forum, or WEF, theme around global collaboration, growth and energy for development, ended its first leg of a 2-day discussion on Sunday in the Saudi capital of Riyadh. The meeting took place amid alarming warnings from the World Food Programme about a sharp increase in global hunger, affecting half of the world's population. Food scarcity has worsened due to successive shocks from the COVID-19 pandemic, the Russia-Ukraine conflict, and turmoil in the Middle East, especially around the Red Sea. Furthermore, the Saudi energy minister noted that 60 to 70% of the world's population is grappling with energy shortages, with up to 800 million people lacking basic electricity. Delegates also stressed the urgency of finding practical solutions for Gaza and Ukraine. Japan's yen quickly fell to 160 yen per dollar in Singapore on Monday, setting a 3-decade low against the dollar. The yen's slide occurred after the Bank of Japan decided on April 26 to maintain the current interest rates after a 2-day monetary policy meeting. This move leads market investors to predict there will be no interest rate hikes anytime soon. The Tokyo financial market is closed due to the Golden Week holiday. Before the Bank of Japan announced its decision, the yen fluctuated around 155 yen per US dollars. The South Korean government plans to deploy more medical staff as senior doctors at 5 major hospitals in Seoul decided to take a weekly day off starting this week. During Monday's government meeting, the health minister promised to support the emergency medical system by sending additional healthcare staff so patients won't bear the brunt of sudden resignation or absences by medical professors. This comes amid increasing pressure on South Korea's healthcare system, with universities set to submit enrollment quotas tomorrow. Tensions have been ongoing for over 2 months, triggered by mass resignations by medical interns protesting plans to increase medical school admissions by 2,000 in 2025. The final meeting day of the Canadian round of negotiations to reach a global agreement on combating plastic pollution was held on Monday. countries are making efforts to reduce plastic waste, beginning with small local action. A policy that many countries focus on is how to limit plastic, especially single-use plastic products.
Single-use plastic items, including plastic spoons, straws, plates, and foam food containers, have been banned from restaurants in Hong Kong, China, since April 22nd. Numerous countries and cities worldwide, such as the European Union, Thailand, and several states in the US, have implemented regulations banning single-use plastic products and plastic bags in shopping malls and supermarkets to help reduce plastic waste.
Any plastic ban policy aims to influence the public to stay away from plastic use.
Even small steps make a difference because big supermarkets notice when people ask for less packaged material. Also, our kids pay attention. If they're shopping with us and you talk about why you're reaching for the glass jar rather than the plastic jar, it's an opportunity for education.
More than 180 countries have also committed to eliminating plastic waste in the oceans. Many countries are making efforts to gradually eliminate all single-use plastics by 2030.
Cleanup is not a center stage solution. We can't rely on cleanup alone. Otherwise, we're simply condemning our children and children's children to contaminate the environment in the hope that we might just clean it all up later on. We need much more systemic solutions. And that has to start with reduction in the total volumes of plastic that we're producing.
Raising widespread public awareness about the harm caused by plastic to humans, animals, and biodiversity, and conducting more research on the health implications of plastic is also a solution to enhance the reduction of plastic waste.
Now let's take a look at the weather forecast. That's all the news we have for this hour. To rewatch our program, you can download our mobile app at VTVgo or check out our YouTube channel, VTV4Go. Thank you for watching and see you next time.